I am at the Moodle homepage and I'm logged in as Jane Kleiman so that I can give you a little bit of a tour or an orientation of some consistent parts of every Moodle experience, whether you're a student or staff. In particular, I want to focus on the two blocks on the left-hand side. One is called the navigation block, one is called the administration block. So every student, every staff person, when they log into Moodle has a navigation block. So what's important is that you can always click on this little triangle to the left of my courses, and that will give you a drop-down menu of any course that you are enrolled in, either as a teacher or a student. So I'm with Jane. I want to show you what it would look like if I go to one of the courses where she's enrolled as a student. These are the course short names. And so when I click on Creative Writing LIEPA, I go to his page. Jane is a student in this course. The thing to note that any student, so if your students enroll in your course, so it's under my courses when they log in, it is very easy for students to unenroll themselves from a course. That occurs in the student administration block. If you are a student and you look at the administration block, there generally isn't a lot that's going to be in there, other than the enroll option and a few other things. So I'm going to click on unenroll me, and then I'm going to click continue. And then that brings me back to the home page. And now if I go under my courses, you will notice, excuse me, that this is not in the drop-down menu for Jane. So what about the navigation menu if you are a teacher of a course? So I am going to go in here and go to the short name for Jane's health course page. I click on it. And what you will notice is you'd say, well, where is that navigation block? Well, a teacher has the ability to really move all of these blocks that are on the right-hand column and the left-hand column around. So for Jane, she chose to move it much farther down the page. So you can see it right here. And the main part that I want you to note is that this is where you could see a list of your participants. If I click on participants, it will show you the individuals that are currently enrolled in the course. And if you do, on a Mac, if you do a two-finger slide to the right, you can see the last time that they accessed your course page. And so that's one thing that you might use as a tool. If you have chosen to organize by groups, so if you have a first block, second block, third block, you would be able to view your groups by clicking on a pull-down menu at the top, which you don't see here because she doesn't have groups set up. All right, so right here in the gray bar, we call this breadcrumbs. You use that to get back to previous pages that you've been on. So this is the short name for Jane's course. I can click on that breadcrumb to get back to her home page. I want to say a few things about the administration block. If you're a student, there's hardly anything in here, but if you are a teacher, there are a lot of important things here. In particular, if you click on the triangle next to users, you can see the enrolled users in your course. And if you click on this button, you can add more users. So if you wanted to add students that would have your course under their My Courses menu, you could do that here. There is a lengthy tutorial on how to enroll students in one of my other blocks in my Moodle 2 course, so I'm not going to get into that. This is also where you could go look to see what your enrollment methods are. Right now, Jane is actually set up to only allow self-enrollment. She actually doesn't have manual enrollment turned on. So if I click on enrollment methods, I guess she does have manual enrollment as an option, but you'd want to look here to see, are guests allowed in your course? That has to do with people who don't have Moodle accounts, like parents, and are students allowed to self-enroll, manual enrollments, etc. The other thing in the administration block that is kind of important is edit settings. These are your main course pages. Sorry about that pop-up menu, that comes up for me all the time. And we will talk about some of these in a later tutorial as well, but notice this is the long name of your course. In general, I like to have the teacher last name in there if possible. And then the short name is what appears to students when they click on the My Courses drop down in the navigation block. All right. If students need to access their Hopkins APSA column, that is done from the drop-down menu at the top of the page. And if students need to navigate to a course by school, they can do that from the school sites drop-down at the top. And one other thing, if you go to the Moodle homepage, I'm going to click on the word Moodle in the upper left-hand corner. That always brings me to my homepage. It is very important to know about the search courses field because it's really good. If you know any part of a course name, so for example, if I'm just looking for Kleinman's Health course, if I type it in there and click go, the search field does a great job searching for those courses, and maybe it's a faster way of getting to a course rather than using the school sites menu if you have not already enrolled. If you're enrolled, the fastest way to get to a course page is, again, to go under My Courses. Lastly, very last thing, you can collapse any of these blocks in Moodle. So for example, if the navigation block gets in your way and you want to hide it, you can click on the minus sign. If the administration block is in your way, you can click on it, and that way you can condense some of these blocks if you feel like they're too long. Completely up to you. That's your decision, and it is an option if you feel like you need to clean up your page. So that is your orientation. In particular, I wanted you to be aware of navigation block and the administration block, which appears for all students, except that they look different depending upon whether you're a teacher or whether you are a student. It is a dynamic set of blocks.